of Bits Embryo, we wish you a very happy new year and thank everyone present here to the first talk by Bits Embryo this year. Today, as you know, emerging technologies play a crucial role in product innovation. And today we have with us Piyush sir, who is a strategic advisor and entrepreneur and a recognized thought leader in the field of emerging technologies. He has started his career from a mere project manager, and now he is the chief data and transformation officer at Veridic Solution. His career journey is a true testament for his passion to include emerging technologies in new products. Thank you, sir, for giving us your time today.
Thank you for the warm welcome, Kush. I would like to say that I'm at heart an engineer, and whatever I share today would be based on my experiences of the last 30 plus years that I have spent in the industry. My career hasn't been a straight line. It's taken me different places, and throughout the experiences and the trials and tribulations, um, there are lessons that I have learned, and that will be reflected in this conversation. I would really appreciate if everyone can turn their cameras on so that I can see and we can interact. That way, it becomes much easier. But totally up to you. What I see this as, this is the beginning of a conversation, and there would be questions I believe you may have. So for the first 30 minutes or so, or maybe 25 minutes, I'll go through this deck at a high level. It'll talk about certain things, but I want to make sure everyone knows how to reach me. You can reach me via LinkedIn, you can connect there, or via Twitter X. My handle is at pmalik1. And if you are tweeting today, uh, or posting on LinkedIn, use the hashtag the digital agenda. And this is how I believe we will conduct the next 30 minutes. We'll go through the introduction in a little bit more detail so that you understand where I'm coming from. Then we'll talk about data driven innovations. And within that, we'll talk about the difference between data science and data products, and how the data scientists and the product managers need each other, and those kind of things will come up. Then we'll talk about transformation. There are technology driven transformation programs that I've led, there are enterprise transformations that I've done for clients, and then there are organizational transformations that I've done for both um, clients as well as in some cases um, for as part of my CSR responsibilities for a full country, where we had planned something for transforming the culture as well as mindset of the entire nation. So if we get to that story, that'll be great. And then if we don't get to during the presentation, then remind me during Q&A. And finally, we'll get to the yin and yang part of it, and then do some Q&A. Sounds good?
Yes, sir.
All right. So my career started with engineering. I'm assuming many of you are pursuing engineering undergrad. I did that in Delhi University, and after my bachelor's in electronics and communication, I got my first break as a product manager, and as a product management engineer, doing a little bit of engineering, but more of the product management function. And during that experience that I got at Tata Telecom, that was like the entire full life cycle of a company within a large conglomerate. And I'm very thankful for that experience, because that was like on the job MBA that I was given. But then I was intrigued, and uh, wanted to further my education by taking my master's, and so with the after my master's in management and systems, with a minor in finance, I was able to take a step further in my career, and became a project manager with the company that I was with, CMC Limited, which used to be the only IT company at that time in India. Again, here I'm talking about early 90s, late 80s and early 90s. Um, and then I got into the software development. Um, so another twist and turn, inflection point. Software development was considered to be the rising star of India. India was just getting into this industry, and I had the good fortune of working with some uh, groundbreaking projects. For example, the computerization of railway reservation system in India, that is regarded as the groundbreaking project I was involved with, and that got me into um, uh, how a big project is executed from the software perspective. And then an opportunity came from CMC to come to the US to establish the data warehousing practice for or BI practice at that time here in Silicon Valley. And I thought I was coming here for a 2-month assignment. And it's been 27 years I've been in the Silicon Valley. But all along came an opportunity with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I took that management consulting opportunity, and there I got more and more into strategy, and more involved with larger and much uh, more interactions with the C-suite, with the um, bigger projects, bigger risks, as well as, of course, a lot of travel. In those days, my job used to take me away from my home Monday to Friday, and that was the lifestyle of a management consultant. So I thought I'll do it for a couple of years, but I continued for 7 years before we got acquired by IBM, and since I transferred to IBM, there were a lot more opportunities for growth, and I started leading a practice, information governance practice, information quality integrity practice I established, and then it became a global, worldwide role that made me travel around the world. And then we established the advanced analytics practice. Anytime anything new was going on, I would raise my hand and do that. And then from BI to advanced analytics to big data. Uh, it was a journey over 10 years that I was involved with various roles of increasing responsibility. My last role with the IBM was leading the worldwide Big Data Analytics Center of Excellence. And many times in my life, I have started small business units, and from zero to 150 member team. Then another opportunity where from zero to 400 team members. And then there was another time that I inherited a team of about 400, 450 professionals, and grew that by hiring people across India, China, Brazil, and as the major centers, and then some smaller ancillary centers. That was a global delivery team that I hired for BI and business analytics, and that I grew that practice to about 10,000 people. That was where, after that, more and more emphasis on big data came along, and so I have this tendency of going from zero to one. I establish something, scale it up, and then start something, give it out to somebody else to manage, and then go and research new areas and do those things. So in that vein, uh, after about 25 years of corporate life, I got the startup bug. And for the last 7, 8 years, I've been involved with startups. One failed startup, one successful exit, and on to my third one, where obviously I'm not the founder, but I'm on the leadership team. And so that's going on. In between, I have had the chance to work at an applied AI ML company. That is the startup where we exited uh, about 2 years ago. And that exit led me to during that time I was working closely with Google and Google Cloud. And since then, it's a multi-cloud world, and I've been working with multiple public cloud vendors, AWS, Microsoft Azure. And these days a lot more work is happening in the AI and the Gen AI space, a lot more experimentation. But in between, I should also say there is a part of me that, in addition to the corporate life, in addition to the startup life, I have a role in the nonprofits. I've always been involved with one or the other nonprofits. And for the last 10 years, I've been leading the um, American Society of Engineers of Indian Origin, the Silicon Valley chapter I founded 10 years back. And I'm the national chair as well for the last 3 years. So that, in a nutshell, is been my journey, very circuitous. And I'm all to on to my next chapter. And hopefully, um, whatever you hear about the topic, you will see there is some semblance of my journey from one place to another that has taken me and enriched my experiences, which I would be sharing with you. All right. So, Kush, please give me when 30 minutes are left at that time, just give me a signal, say something. And
Okay,
then
sure.
when 15 minutes are left, then also. Okay.
Okay. So,
All right.
just a curiosity from my side. Do you think the twists and turns that you experience while going through your career trajectory uh, enabled you to tackle the twists and turns that come during a product development cycle?
Very good question. And one thing which I've learned in my life is never say no to an opportunity, and B, always be ready to experience something new. And you never know the power of serendipity. So,
Okay.
and if you recall this opportunity itself, how you invited me, we never spoke, we
Yeah.
never prepped up, and never knew what you were expecting, and I'm here without any much of a reminder from your side. That's the uh, kind of thing that I have done while networking with my network out here, and also while building a practice all along. It's a people business that we are in. Services
Yeah.
business is people business, and that's what helps you in a certain way, especially when you are building products. You have to have the empathy for the user. You have to use design thinking, and we'll talk more about it as we go forward.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. If there are no further questions, I will like to move on. And so, uh, that now that you have seen my journey, this talk is actually lessons from 3 decades in the industry. And once again, the hashtag is the digital agenda. Okay. So, on to the first chapter, which is the data driven innovations. And then we'll talk about data science and data products, the data driven innovations. Uh, Remember, I talked to you about how I came to establish the data warehousing BI practice for this Indian company, CMC Limited, which later on got acquired by TCS. And while I was working here in the US with a client called Cadence Design System, which is a semiconductor EDA tool manufacturer, a software company, there were certain things that we were building for the client. And Uh, there are every product that you build, it comes with signals of its own. How many features are being used, how many users are accessing the product, how frequently, how the product is doing in different parts of the geography. So there are different questions that you ask of the data that comes out of the product usage, and that guides you into a, enhancing the product, B, supporting the product users, and C, scaling the product. That is something that you've got to keep in mind. Uh, so how do you define a data product? A data product is a tool or application that uses data to provide information, insights, or functionality to customers to help businesses make decisions and control complex systems. So, easier said than done. What is the other part of it, which is the data science? Data science is often considered as, if you think about a Venn diagram, there is the mathematics part of it, there is the statistics part of it, and then there is computer engineering. And at the intersection of it lies data science. But I always say that there has to be a domain component as well, where the domain knowledge is important, and you've got to bring the technical chops, you've got to bring the domain knowledge, the processes, and then you've got to combine mathematics and coding along with it. So data science is the study of data to extract meaningful insights for business. So you'll see there are certain similarities between the definitions itself. And why I'm bringing this concept of data product here is it relates to product management. And the product management concepts that are in vogue today are a lot different than what got started into product management or product engineering long back. Uh, the it was a different context, different industry. It was telecom, and in my case, at that time, and it was India that we were dealing with. And today, any product that you build, it is for typically for the global market. Typically, the products that you build are don't have to be installed. Uh, their software products are software as a service products, SaaS products, and which are the most scalable and most profitable entities. Of course, you could always build a hardware product. You could always have pure service as well. But whenever we talk about products for product management, I'm referring to these SaaS products. All right. So I'll take a pause and ask a few questions here. Uh, so once again, I'll ask you guys to open your cameras and tell me what is the first thing you do in the morning. Just uh, raise your hands. Anybody, apart from the moderator, if it'll be good to hear somebody else's voice as well. Please unmute and tell me what is the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up. Anyone? Guys, it'll be a lot better if we make it a little bit more interactive.
Mostly we check our phones, I guess.
Perfect. Check your phone. Anybody else?
Arrange the
I
bed.
Come again?
Arrange the bed, make the bed.
Arrange the bed. Okay, great. Well, the first answer I got, you are absolutely right. Both of you are right. But invariably, even while we are lying in bed, the first thing we do when we open our eyes is we reach out for our mobile devices and we want to, check our messages, right? And this has become our habit. So, and this activity, whether you are checking your social media, whether you're checking your SMSs or WhatsApps or whatever, you're generating so much digital exhaust from morning till the time you go to bed. And in this process, what happens is the phone company monitors you, the telecom operator monitors you, and the data about your usage pattern gets recorded at multiple places. Um, from your device to the telecom tower to the telecom company to the carrier. And then there are multiple cookies that are set up on both your browser as well as on your phone, as well as laptop, that gives incentive to advertisers or give signals to various advertisers to pitch their product or service to you. And so you will start seeing signs of you are talking to somebody without using the phone. You're talking to somebody at home, and next minute you turn around and an ad related to that will start appearing on your phone, and then it'll follow you on your computer. And how do you think that happens? There are, these devices are listening, and this is the world we live in, right? So this digital exhaust that we live in is generated by all the data that you are generating, and all of that. So final question. Um, so as a data, as a user of the mobile phone, are you a data consumer or a data producer, or you yourself are a data product?
I guess we are all of those.
You are all of those. Yes, you're absolutely right there. Great. So now the third quiz question, which is on your screen, is I'm assuming all of you are familiar with the generative AI movement.
Yes, sir.
What triggered the interest in Gen AI, and what triggered the Gen AI movement? It all happened in the last um, 1.5 years.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT, absolutely right. And does anyone remember when Chat GPT came out in the market?
Uh,
2022 November,
Number.
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Last day of November 2022. And a lot of people have started calling that as a Chat GPT day as well. And that was the first time that bulk of the people who are not in the data industry heard about OpenAI and so on and so forth. Though um, people have been working in this industry for quite some time. I, for one, I've spent 30 plus years in the data and applied AI industry. I've seen many AI summers, AI springs, and AI winters. And my last stint when I saw the AI spring was when I was at IBM incubating a team of business analytics and optimization professionals. We were releasing IBM Watson. Does anyone remember IBM Watson defeating humans in the Jeopardy championship on TV? Maybe guys were too young.
Yeah,
Uh,
we were too young at that time.
Look up, Google up, and you will see what did Watson achieve. IBM Watson was the first cognitive computing system. We used to call it cognitive computing system.
Hmm.
Underlying principles were natural language understanding. Some of the early research in whatever you are seeing in today's AI system came from there. It was simply question answer system, but of course the techniques have been refined over a period of these years. So 2011 February 14th was the date that this championship was one by a computer, and that this computer called IBM Watson, which IBM took 2 years after that win, and after all the hoopla was created in the media, before they took it out for industry applications. And cancer was the moonshot that they took it out for. So that said, um, uh, so today, when we talk about Gen AI movement, it's a lot more accelerated form of AI, a lot more applied form of AI, and a lot more democratized form of AI, which is generating a lot of interest in emerging technologies. So, so that said, let's move on to the next slide.
So,
That was the context I just wanted to set. Yeah, question?
I just thought that regarding what you said and one thing you wrote in your article on Medium, AI for Humanity article, uh, in that article you very specifically write that even in 2018 you are using Siri or something, you are using AI at that point of time, even before it was hot to use the word AI and stuff. So I learned this from someone as well, that the end user gets bored very easily. Now, how do we ensure that our products create, you know, a comeback feeling in the user? It does not push away after some time. That maybe ChatGPT was a breakthrough movement, but today people are back to regular sources. They don't use ChatGPT more often.
Well, ChatGPT was the first generative AI product, but after that, there are at least 10 more products, whether it is Llama, whether it is Palm from Google, or Gemini from Google, or you name it. Anthropic has Claude, and all of these are just keeping on improving themselves. Uh, from where I sit and meeting with clients who are demanding how can they apply AI and generative AI in their enterprise business, uh, I'm not seeing uh, what you are saying. People are getting away from it. Maybe the novelty factor in the usage of asking questions or prompt engineering to a chat GPT might be waning, but not from where I see from the commercial, from the enterprise world. People are investing heavily in generative AI, and you'll see as we go forward certain things, what McKinsey has predicted and what different industries are applying. So I would say, let me go through next at least 5 6 slides, which will
Okay.
set the context up, and then we can have a discussion. All right.
Yeah. Sure. Sir.
So digital exhaust story that we talked about a couple of slides back, or maybe last slide, was how we can say, if I couldn't find the 2024 graphic yet, 2023, every minute, this is the number somebody has compiled. This is a e-discovery today, and they have provided these numbers. How many, look at uh, how many um, inquiries to ChatGPT per minute are going, more than 20,000. How many messages, millions of messages are going uh, through WhatsApp, and every minute, you are, whether you are watching a movie, whether you are uploading a small video on YouTube, or whether you are sending an email, you are just continuing to generate more and more volume of data. And this volume of data, they say in 2024, it's growing exponentially, and by 2025 it'll be about 180, uh, um, 180, there's a unit, I just want to make sure I can tell you correctly. um, this is zettabytes, and Already there are analysts predicting that we will get into yottabytes. Um, so hopefully, this generative AI movement is going to multiply the amount of data that was created until the last year by tenfold. That's my prediction. So we are in for a lot more data, both video, audio. So unstructured data is what is being generated, and that's what we will see going forward as well. There are some applications of data-driven applications that have been in service of humanity. I mean, some of these projects I have been involved with over these years, and even though they're not as sexy as the AI project, but they use data-driven techniques. They use fundamental uh, usage of data and analytics, whether we are talking about preventing crime, whether we are talking about finding fraudulent transactions in banking clients of mine. And by the way, I forgot to mention earlier, I have operated as a management consultant through PwC, and IBM in 17 different industry verticals. So I get to see
Oh,
a lot of these problems from one industry to another industry. There are certain uh, transferability of use cases, and at that same time, there are some uh, use cases, some problems which are very unique to a particular industry. For example, the energy industry and the usage of um, smart metering to get to the energy transition that we are to make from fossil fuels to renewable sources. So that was when I was working for a utility company. And then there were a mining client where we were using uh, uh, AI to predict the failure rates of equipment, heavy equipment that is used in their mining. So, tons and tons of those examples through my lived experiences and field visits to all these clients across the world. But so this is a snapshot of a lot of these use cases. These are not simple use cases. These are projects that have been put out there to um, improve our lives and to serve humanity. But three use cases, very recent means in the last 3 to 4 years that I've been involved with, that have used data science and AI driven approaches. So, one is the preventive maintenance I talked about. So, it was something for this mining company, but we were using sensorial data coming from different parts of the massive truck. And each of these trucks, you can imagine a human being. And a human being is typically about 6 feet or slightly below that, and you have 10 human beings standing in a on top of each other. So it's like uh, that kind of a height truck, which is the standard. World's largest truck is what used in those operations in remote corners of the client that I had in Canada. And so we used to look at the different use cases, from whether it was optimizing uh, the wheelbase, whether it was to find which component of this particular uh, suspension would go bad, and how to order these um, spare parts ahead of time, because otherwise these are very expensive equipment. You can't have inventory of all the spare parts, and the manufacturer doesn't guarantee um, unless you follow the preventive maintenance schedule. So what we had to use was, rather than rely on time-based maintenance. For example, any of you who has owned a vehicle, a car or a scooter, you would know, or a motorbike, they advise you to change oil at regular intervals, right? Now here, you can't. These are very, very expensive equipment costing millions of dollars. So any downtime can cause even more loss of productivity, loss of profitability as well to the company. So they want to optimize all of this, and so that's where we used AI to and machine learning to predict that, and predict which part will fail, to arrange for their spare parts, and to have downtime of no more than 1 day in bringing and scheduling that vehicle for a tune-up, and then putting it back into service. So that was one example of a client project. Then there were workflow automation projects where you are looking at the digital signals, and uh, you know when from one application in the enterprise the data is shared from, let's say, the HR system to the payroll system to the attendance system, and how that application workflow is used to uh, bring efficiencies into the work of the workers. That's one case. Finally, in the customer care use case, where in the contact center, you want to optimize the incoming calls to go to the right person who can solve the problem. Anytime you have a problem with any equipment, you call the service department. Anytime you have a problem with your bank, you call them, uh, inquiring about your balance, or asking about what other products to buy from the bank, so on and so forth. The contact centers can be used for troubleshooting, as well as for resolution, as well as for upselling. It is in the best interest of the company to employ a modern, efficient contact center software which will direct the incoming call to the right individual, right field representative, who can answer the call in the least amount of time and retain the customer as a happy customer. So, all of that uses data, signals from the data, and optimizes. Software optimization essentially gives you script, gives the customer service representative script to talk, whether it is to pacify a customer, whether it is to upsell to a customer, or whether it is solving their technical problem. So all of these are using data science, and behind the scenes, data pipelines are built. Okay, so let's move on to see how. Well, this is just a graphic to say how this generative AI movement, uh, triggered by ChatGPT, basically got so many, about 100 million users in the shortest amount of time in the history of the world. And as we see, a lot of industry leaders have predicted that AI is something akin to the industrial revolution. It is like electricity, and it will be so ubiquitous. It will be embedded into each and every product that we see going forward, and it will be integral part of our life. And we would not even be aware of whether it is using AI or not. And as Kush, you were saying in my blog from 2018, and I've been saying this even in the year 2009, actually. I'll show you a slide later on, where I was talking about the use of technology and robotics, and how these things will permeate our lives. And I'm now seeing whatever was predicted by science fiction, or it used to come in movies, is now becoming real with the applications now being available. And a lot of it is because of the uh, cost of computing going down, cost of storage going down, and cloud computing coming to fore. And that's bringing the power of compute storage, and the ideation and the creativity of us human beings, which is bringing this forward. All right. So, um, how much more time do I have, Kush?
So you can go on for about like 10 minutes more, I guess.
Okay. All
But
right. I want to leave time for your questions as well. I would
yeah,
really
yeah. So
like to
there's
move
enough.
that.
There's enough questions.
Okay.
There's enough time.
So let's talk about the yin yang of product innovation with the transformation aspects of it. The transformation can be uh, just like in the life cycle of a butterfly. Uh, the way a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, it takes a dormant state in between. All of the transformations are very, very, let's say, intense. And at the enterprise level, whether you are doing a technology driven transformation, which is for the sake of proving a technology, or whether you are doing an enterprise transformation where multiple departments are involved, multiple architectures are involved of the entire IT department, touching the functions of marketing, finance, HR, or whether it is the organization level transformation where you are changing the culture, whether you are doing it at the organization level, at the government level, city government level, or the state government level, or the country government level. All of that, these are different stages of transformation, different types of transformation that you can have. And I've got examples of where I've been involved in technology driven transformations, where we were transforming a bank from a traditional bank in Brazil to a neo bank, which is a totally digital bank. And it required a lot of retraining of personnel. It required a lot of infusion of new ideas, and a lot of adoption of technology. And when we were talking about an enterprise level transformation from a legacy system in a different industry, there was an example where we a project we did where um, uh, they had to move their data from the legacy hardware that they were maintaining in their own data centers to public cloud, and we were moving the data to Google Cloud. And that required, and it was a grocery outlet, so basically it was a uh, grocery shops in US are grocery chains, so which have thousands of stores which are linked with the same software. They are under the same management, but these are individual stores that each store carries, let's say, easily about 10,000 to 20,000 unique UPC or unique products, which have to be tracked, which have to be inventoried. And so all of that is based on a solid information technology architecture backbone, which, if not architected properly, can really fail. So that's where we had leveraged the enterprise architecture transformation practices, well architected cloud architecture of GCP. So I'll not delve deeper into that. Let's move on to the transformation. As you can see from these pictures, do you notice anything in this picture? The title is Digital Innovation and AI is Transforming Us at Hyper Speed. What do you notice about this picture, especially the picture on the right? Look closely. Guys, there are more than 30 people on the line. I would like to see some folks interact. We are 43 people. Okay. Um,
The one on the right is an AI generated image.
the one on the right is?
An AI generated image. It says on the cams on the top.
Yes, absolutely. So it's a real product, but the packaging of the product was designed by Midjourney. As you can see here, it's pointed out for those who
Hmm.
were not able to see. It says the packaging designed by Midjourney. So, how many of you had heard of Midjourney before? Okay, yeah, you can just instead of if you have questions, you can raise your hand, but you can use any of the other thing symbols here. So, how many of you have heard of Dali? Great. Okay, so good. It seems like you guys are fairly AI literate, and I wouldn't go deeper into it, except saying that this AI is transforming all industries, and it's also transforming us. And this innovation that starts with I is within us. It's the influence and the impact that we can have, but also the insights that are generated by AI that are important here. All right. Okay. Um,
So,
some more examples of how AI is transforming industries. Anyone heard of Khan Academy? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, have you guys seen this Khan Amigo? It's the latest innovation using ChatGPT at the back end, and it's a personalized tutor. The vision is that personalized tutor knows your weaknesses and it learns along the way, and it doesn't get bored, it doesn't beat you up, it doesn't scold you, and at the same time it helps in accelerating your learning. Great example of using AI. And then on the right side, we're talking about an AI powered brain chip to be implanted in a human being. This company Neuralink happens to be located just about 2 miles away from where I live, and it's again a company started by Elon Musk, who is famously known these days as the CEO of, sorry, as the owner of Twitter slash X, and of course SpaceX and Tesla are some of the other companies that he owns. But to have chips implanted into your brain, which will let you do things much beyond the capability of a normal human being. This is called augmented human being, and again, this has been long time coming. This research has been happening for almost a decade, but getting to the stage of FDA trials is a big thing. And in the US, FDA is an agency, Food and Drug Administration, that uh, basically any project, if you have to put in the hands of any technology you have to put in the hand of consumers, it has to go through FDA trials and approvals. I'll give you an example. I was working with my team on for a Fortune 100 pharmaceutical life sciences company on a handheld device based solution which used cloud and edge computing and AI ML algorithms to detect the early onset of diseases and a certain specific disease to be monitored through that device. And the image processing, basically the classification of the image, and then uh, the results of that scan being available without the intervention of a doctor. That's the solution we were working on. We've built that solution 3 years ago, and for the last 2 years, we are just enhancing and implementing it on a trial basis while it is going through a FDA approval cycle. So, FDA approvals, while it was easy for folks to get the vaccines this time for COVID because of accelerated schedule, but typically FDA approval takes a long time in coming. So I know the pain one has to go through, and this company So we haven't released that product yet in the US. We are approved only in the European market to release that product. But this company implanting chips in human beings, Neuralink, it's a great step forward. I had seen their demo of this in a pig, and how the pig was able to do certain activities through their brain wave. It was just mind-boggling. Anyone else in the group has seen this demo or heard about Neuralink before? Give me a sign, please. Okay, two, three, four. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's move on. And middle of this talks about how Gen AI is a 4.4 trillion game changer for the global economy, and this is a major study. And a lot of companies last year already started seeing a movement. Um, Both um, uh, Deloitte, Accenture, as well as IBM Consulting, all three firms have indicated their businesses worth 700 million to about $1 billion businesses in the generative AI space already last year. So this year, obviously, it'll increase. So it can transform a lot of our industries. So in the same vein, it's not some common use cases are in the enterprise are how you can use AI as a co-pilot to make your efficiency of your programmers better. It can be used in enterprise search. It can use in classification. Think of, you've always been using AI. If you are looking at the recommendation engine from Netflix or Amazon Prime, you've been using the data and the AI algorithms behind the recommendation engine. But to translate that into the enterprise world, where you can't release any AI based application until it is 90% and above accurate, and especially in the life sciences case that we were working on, it had to be 96% accurate. There was another example where a project we did for a car collision shop, a conglomerate which had about 1,800 car repair shops throughout US. And we were predicting uh, how, and we had to improve the margins, how we will predict um, which cars to be given what kind of advanced calibration tuning. And uh, our prediction algorithm was not reaching a 90% level for almost 6 months until we tried an advanced form of algorithm. And we had to move from word to vec to um, um, a different form of custom model, which included AI as well as heuristic data. So all of that pointed us to the fundamental problem that the underlying data on which the model was trained was not clean, and it was not classified appropriately. So the lesson we learned from there was, while building the product, we had to have a proper training and a human in the loop and multiple rounds of training that. And this is a project which predates generative AI. So um, RAG and transformers were not used in that process. But ultimately, we ended up using BERT, BERT model for improving the accuracy of that. So, anyways, I will not take any more time on this. There are many other considerations for enterprise. Very quickly, how AI is speeding up scientific research and transformation of of the industries, scientific industry. Let's get to the yin yang portion of it. There is still, yeah, all the CEOs want AI as their top priority, but they are concerned about the hallucinations, the privacy, and the data control, the bias, and the toxicity in there. So Fundamentally, it comes down to you can't trust the AI because you can't trust the data, and that's the reason why AI-driven products could fail if not if um, appropriate handling techniques are not built in. The guardrails need to be put in, and then the yin yang says, what if the machines start controlling us? The images of Skynet, of Terminator, and all those science fiction movies where machines just come and take over human beings and basically get ready for annihilating us. And that's where the visions of AGI are coming in. And a lot of folks say that perhaps OpenAI was very close to getting to AGI and they had hidden it from the board. And that's why the fiasco happened, whatever happened in November at OpenAI. But that said, it's now back to normal business, and we are going to see a lot more innovations there. Of course, there's double standards which were being preached back in March. Uh, there were appeals by more than 1,000 people, or prominent people, prominent technologists, had signed a letter to stop any further AI experimentation because they were fearing AI would get the capability better than human beings and they'll take over the world. But then in parallel, this guy goes and starts his another company to compete with the OpenAI, and they released their model Grok not too far back. So just about a couple of months ago, that Grok model, which feeds off of Twitter data stream, and in real time, it does um, uh, what a large language model training. It is able to do that in real time. So exciting times. A lot of things to consider for as these enterprises are getting tech savvy. Productivity is definitely is improving with the use of emerging technology like IoT or AI. But then what do we do with the excess capacity? What happens to the human beings who get redundant by the use of automation? What do we do with the rising unemployment? There are ethical concerns as well, because there could be bias in training the data that training data that the AI models use. And then the questions arise: were the artists and the journalists compensated by these companies when they started using their data to train their models? And then, of course, the legal concerns were always there, but the proof point came just 2 days ago when New York Times sued OpenAI and Microsoft for copyright infringement because they found the outputs coming from ChatGPT to be identical to what New York Times had published previously. So that said, when there's one positive, there's some negative as well, and we've got to balance and walk a tightrope in these cases. So as promised earlier, here's a snapshot of the talks that I was doing back when IBM Watson was introduced in 2011, and then the IBM Watson division came, and you can see it says 9 years ago, but actually I took this particular snapshot about a month ago. So this is definitely there. And then we are talking about 1 billion jobs being lost because of AI, and job automation definitely has an impact on workforce and what is the future of work going to be. And as early as 2015, I gave this talk once again at the Smart Data Conference in San Jose, California, where I talked about the rise of the machines are more power to humans. So again, there was no chat GPT at that time, and we were based on whatever research we were doing at IBM Research. There were some early indicators of the studies that we had done, and we had a hunch on which we were working while we were building the product. So that said, Uh, uh, Today, if you look at, there are different camps. There are some camps which are saying we should be worried about the job losses, and then one of the godfathers of AI, Hinton, says he fears that it'll take over humanity, and there are different opinions. But the good news is, while the job losses will happen, while the societal disruptions will happen, yes, there is a possibility of economic hardships as well. There will be governance, law, and order problems. But what do we need to do? We need to be vigilant about it. We need to retrain, and we need to make sure we are upskilling. And by the way, if you're wondering um, what this picture is, this is a picture generated out of um, Dali. And uh, I asked the same question. I gave the prompt, these different things in red, and based on that, it came up with this kind of a uh, futuristic looking image, which shows a gloomy picture. So, but the bright side is the governments are now acting much more with much more agility. They are getting tech savvy, and they are responding much faster. Um, October, end of October, U.S. Executive order came from the president, establishing, special agencies for the applying of AI, and putting the guardrails here. Uh, Without guardrails, what happens is the AI can go unchecked. Once those guardrails are put in place, all products will have to comply with that, and then that's where the agencies would be put in place. What that means is the government employees would need to get savvier in technology, and they'll need to hire people with the AI knowledge. So that's where the good news for engineers like yourselves, who are getting into the job market pretty soon. There will be more and more opportunities from the government level. And again, not only US, you have seen things in UK as well. And UK Prime Minister called this AI Safety Summit, and 100 representatives from 27 different countries got together, and they came up with a manifesto, which was unanimously agreed upon. And then uh, very soon after that, a month after that, on December 8th, a EU AI Act was approved, and this obviously the first submission of that happened in 2021, but it was accelerated. The proof points came from the AI summit, and they were now put in place. There are risk categories, and they will be fully enforced in 2026. So it's something like a GDPR that Europe took, EU took lead in, and they're once again taking a lead in the regulation and putting the guardrails to keep the citizenry safe, and the applications and the products that are built using AI would be safer. So that said, I'm ready for questions that you guys may have, and I will switch on to a different mode. So over to you, Kush, for questions from the
Yeah,
audience.
thank you, sir, for that enlightening presentation. Yes, the floor is open for the questions. You may ask, sir, any questions you have in your mind.
All right, Kushi, is it possible to get the camera on, please? I really want to see who I'm interacting with. All right, thank you. Go ahead, please, with your question.
Hello. So I just wanted to ask that what were the
Yeah, yeah. I
challenges?
will say, introduce yourself, what course you are doing, and when you are graduating as well, and then the
Okay, okay. I am Khushi Soni. My course here is BE Chemical, and I'll be graduating in 2026. I'm a second year at BITS Pilani. So I wanted to ask that what were the challenges that you faced or observed in creating and deploying data products as different from software products?
Good question. The data products, as we discussed, data used to be an afterthought in software projects, and all my life I've lived through that. That the data warehouse would be put towards the end of the transaction system, and we would have to wait for a year before that goes into effect after Oracle ERP implementation or a SAP ERP implementation. And it used to be such a fight because the resources were left, minimum resources were left, because data came as an afterthought. In a data product world where data is at the center, it is the entire project is conceived with data in mind. While developing the product, there's data observability in place. There are signals in place where the developer can see, um, for example, using products like DevRev, or using any of these observability products like Monte Carlo. I don't know if any of these products make any sense to you, but these are commercial products which are used in enterprises for deriving signals as you are building and deploying your products. So the data products essentially are, the methodology is totally different than a software based products.
Okay, okay.
Any following question?
Yeah, so how did you overcome these challenges?
Right from the beginning, it was, it had to be, you had to, we had to educate the stakeholders that this is important. um, Again, the old techniques are used in the software driven world are not to be applied directly when you're building data products. And so we had to, somewhat, the best practices that you gather are from the industry interaction with the peers. There are certain things that you get from industry analysts like Gartner and Forrester. They are very high level. The best practices a lot of times are not even there. So you have to forge a way forward in building these kind of products. And um, it's always a tough journey when there's no precedent and you are writing the rules as you are going forward. So as they say in the startup world, you know, you're jumping from the airplane, and you don't know whether the parachute will open or not. And that's where, that's something which we had to do on a lot of occasions, with educating our end users, educating our stakeholders for funding, and hiring and training our developers to follow the right methodology for data driven products.
Thank you, sir.
Good question. Thank you, Kushi. All right. Anybody else?
Sanovar, you may go ahead.
Uh, Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, Sanovar, I can hear you.
Uh, Hello, sir. I'm a second year student in BITS Pilani, currently majoring in computer science. So, as you may know, that recently Google unveiled Google Gemini, which is a multimodal AI, meaning that it takes video, audio, and text all as inputs and then gives outputs based on that. So, my
Mhm.
question was that do you think that multimodal AI is going to be the future of all the chatbots, and what
Absolutely.
functionality it can bring for the customers?
Absolutely. This is the world we are moving forward with. If you see from when ChatGPT came, I believe it was November 30th, 2022, when it came, it was the ChatGPT 3 that came out. They've been releasing a version every quarter. So now we are talking about ChatGPT 4 in the public domain, but some people have already gotten an, uh, an entry, a beta entry, let's say, into ChatGPT 5, which has more parameters. It has a multimodal capability, and likewise, each of these hyperscalers, these public cloud companies, and these specialized AI companies are just competing with each other and building product in and adding features at rapid scale. So you are definitely going to see um, multimodal models. Gemini by far is the one which is the greatest performance so far, achieving 90% accuracy level. And even though there are some controversies about the demo that came out
Yeah,
last
the
month,
video apparently was edited.
right? But then I did have a conversation with some of the researchers out there, and it's not overnight. They are not they it's not that chat that open AI comes up with something, or Anthropic comes up with Claude 2, and then Google starts acting on it. Google's been a data first, AI first company for uh, 20 plus years, and it's just that they are responding to the market in public view, and it seems like almost all of these folks are building these AI based product in the public eye. And so there are going to be some hiccups, but ultimately for the consumers like you and I, for the users who will be building products on top of it, it's a golden era. It's a very exciting time to be graduating in computer science, like you, who are going to be, I mean, you don't have to have even a degree to be able to use these products. I am seeing high schoolers, I'm seeing middle schoolers starting to use um, these generative AI products for their fun projects as well as for their academic projects. So you guys have a lot more uh, good things going for you guys.
Thank you, sir. That was great listening from you. Thank you, sir.
All right, great. Okay, we have one more question from Bharat.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I'm Bharat. I'm a first year undergrad student at BITS Pilani, pursuing my bachelor's in electrical and electronics. So, my question is when should machine learning be employed in product management and when should it be avoided? And how can business effectively integrate machine learning into their strategies?
So, not all problems are AI problems. So, you've got to see when you can do things with heuristics and with rules lot more easier, especially when the data volumes are manageable. You don't need to use uh, big data sets. Then you don't need a machine learning, and then you can use normal software techniques. And once you have proven that, and then when you're scaling, at that time it makes sense to use machine learning.
Okay, sir.
I have to tell you, Kush, I have less than 10 minutes left. I do have a hard stop, and I have a meeting that I'm conducting at 8:30.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. So there's just one last question in the chat. If you can answer that, and then we can close. If you
yeah.
can't take any more questions.
So the question is from Vivek. I'm not sure what year, what branch he's at. Are quantum computers playing any role in the AI scene? Um, so quantum computing is an animal of its own. Um, Quantum and AI will definitely collide, and uh, as you know, quantum computers are not classical computers. They use qubits, which can take any, I don't know if that's taught in any of your courses, but quantum computing is a form of computing for which you will have to unlearn a lot of what you have been doing in the classical computing space. In the classical computing space, you represent data with zeros and ones, discrete states, whereas a qubit can be 0 and 1 at the same time. And so as we say, you know, it is going to be, it is in definitely some early forms of quantum computers have been deployed in research labs. No commercial deployments as yet, but companies like IBM and Google have full-fledged quantum computing units in place. In 10 years time, 5 to 10 years time, they will be able to reduce the form factor. They will be able to use those for solving research problems that the classical computers might take maybe 100 years to solve, whereas quantum computer would be able to solve that in a matter of a day or a few hours. So that said, it's a next level of advancement that will come to computing through quantum. And yes, um, AI will definitely be there, but in what way, shape, or form, I don't know, because the way the AI we are using today, it was not the same that we were using in 5 years back. It was with the Transformers uh, paper that changed the course of AI, and it was not the same what we were doing back in 2011, or for that matter, in the last 60 years. So uh, these are advancements are built on top of each other. I don't have the crystal ball to tell you exactly how that will play out, but definitely quantum is a field of its own, and AI is definitely going to be there to solve a lot of problems for the society and for the industry for us.
Thank you,
All right,
sir. That was very informative.
Yeah.
great. All right. If there are no more questions, I would like to take leave of you guys, and want to make sure you have my contact information. And obviously, as I said earlier, um, happy to connect with anyone on social media. LinkedIn and Twitter are two things that I do. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. I learned a lot. I hope others learned a lot as well. Bits Embryo strives to hold more of these talks, and thanks everyone for the support. We wish you all a great evening and a happy new year. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, sir.
Take care. Bye bye.